Big shout out to Bean Working Espresso down in Skyring Terrace, Newstead.
Best coffee in the game.
Best absolute coffee in the game. Hooking the Platform podcast and any listeners up with a 10% discount.
Shout out.
Shout out to Yolanda.
Yolanda.
That was a mouthful.
Their coffee's real fucking good. Get
Best coffee in the game, by far. Just opened up Skyring Terrace. You can order ahead and mention the Platform podcast for a 10% discount. This is the Platform podcast with B-Bad and Brandon. Well, welcome to the Platform podcast. It's very honoured to have you on. We have Paige Mills joining us today, all the way from...
Hey, guys.
You're in Geelong.
Yeah, I am. An hour from Melbourne.
Yeah, so you got the easier restrictions at the moment.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Wow. How's it all going?
That means you're allowed out of your house, right?
Yeah, we are. We are. Just this last week or two, like bars and restaurants opened back up with like lots of restrictions. I think it's like 10 or 20 people per venue or whatever, but you can get out of the house now, which was great.
Yes. It's been a long time like that, right?
Yeah, well, Melbourne was a lot worse than Geelong where I am. I'm classed as regional Victoria, but Melbourne was like you couldn't go more than 5 kilometres from your house. You could only leave the house for an hour a day for exercise. Like, it was bad. If you had to go to work, like you had to have a permit for travelling to work and everything. It was pretty hardcore.
Oh, wow. I didn't really
Yeah.
it was that far.
Yeah, we're real lucky up here.
We're very lucky up here.
Yeah. It made like international news and stuff, like how hardcore the restrictions were here.
Wow, that's insane. Now, before we go any further, we do have to ask you a question. And
Big question.
It's a big question.
And you've done podcasts before, and this could possibly be the biggest question you've ever been asked.
Oh, my God, I'm not going to marry you guys.
What? No, why?
You mean no?
Also, we're already in a relationship, so...
Sorry.
With each other?
Yes.
And how many times... Follow-up question. This isn't the question. How many times do you get random people asking to marry you?
Like online or like people I know?
All of it. Way too many, actually.
A little bit.
Excellent.
A little
Okay.
bit.
Your most important question you've ever been asked in your entire life. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Excellent. That wasn't the question. 21 words, who you are and what you do. Now, before you go, we're going to count every sound you make. So it can be words or sounds. He counts them. Can't go over 21. So if you say they're all counted. Are you ready? Oh, done this before.
She's done this before. She's already not talking.
I am a 26-year-old powerlifter, nurse, coach, fitness model.
That's 10.
That's all there is to me. I don't have enough going for me to list anymore.
Oh, shit. I think we just blown it out.
I did think we blew out the 21 words in the end. There's still a lot of things you do.
Yeah, you've done
It's a lot. It's a lot, yeah.
And you own a gym, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, so I have like a little PT studio. It's more to film my online content, but I also do a little bit of like face-to-face PT in there, here and there. But yeah, it's just like a cute little aesthetic, like boutique strength studio, I guess, with powerlifting equipment. It hasn't got a mono or anything, but all the bars are powerlifting bars and calibrated plates and stuff. So yeah, it's a cool little space to have.
How long have you had that?
It must be about 18 months now, I think. So
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
yeah.
It's still pretty fresh.
So you could train.
Yeah, it's a good little spot. It still feels new because it doesn't get the same wear and tear that like a commercial gym would have because there's no memberships. It's only one-on-ones and me in there. So everything still feels so new in there. I love it. But I was renting it out before coronavirus as well. I was renting it out to a PT the days that I wasn't there. So I had like another PT working there as well.
Yeah,
That's cool. Were you able to access that during COVID, like to train yourself or?
Yes, it was so good. I was so grateful for it. I rented out like excess equipment because I'm not very strong, so I don't need very many plates. So I rented out like a whole heap of stuff. And then I just kept the bare minimum for myself. And I just trained myself there.
That's sweet.
That's very lucky.
So you said powerlifting. Have you done some competitions before as well, or what sort of?
Yeah. So I've done like a handful of sanctioned comps in Australia. I've done nationals before, came fourth at my first nationals. I've done, I went over to Miami and did the hybrid showdown this year in February. So yeah, I've done, it was sick. It was such a good experience. Like there were so many cool people competing and it was just fun to be there. It was a really well-run comp, so that was sick. But I've done a few, I've actually done almost as many strongman comps as I have powerlifting comps.
As well.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it because, like, I take the powerlifting so seriously and, like everyone, you know, I kind of put training first while I'm coming close to a comp. But then with strongman, I just kind of jump in on the day. So I'll sign up for a comp and there might be 3 events I've never done before. I'm like, I'll work it out in the warm-ups. It'll be fine. But, yeah, I love the strongman.
What was probably one of the crazy implements you're like, oh, fuck, I've never seen that before? You had to try and
oh, my God. Do you guys know what a duck walk is?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where you got to between your legs.
Oh, wow. That'd be rough.
You have like a T-bar handle with a chain and there's like plates stacked up at the bottom of the chain and you have to like awkwardly stand like this and run with it. It's horrible. And I still have scars on the insides of my legs from like the plates making my legs bleed. It was horrible.
Jesus.
What got you into strongman?
Just the strength gym I was training at had the equipment and I was kind of like, well, it's here, why not? And I just got a little bit bored of like SBDs. And I think too, like you like the things that you're good at and there's a lot of overhead in strongman and I've got a pretty strong bench. So there was, when I realized what a huge, huge like overlap there is if you're good at pressing and you're good at overhead pressing and whatever. So I kind of picked up a log and I was like, oh, this is fun.
Oh, that'd be cool. What have you log pressed before?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember. Under 70 kilos and over 60, maybe like 65 or something.
But your body weight's...
That's like got to be what you weigh, right? Less.
Yeah, I was about 61 at the time, yeah.
Holy fuck.
I can't do more than my body weight.
That's strong. No. I can do more than my body weight right now. Dude.
But my favourite's definitely the Monster Dumbbell. Oh my Lord, I love Monster Dumbbell. Definitely my favourite event. I had the
I've dabbled in strongman and the Monster Dumbbell was like the bane of my existence. Like
that's gotta be fucking awkward.
It's fucking awkward. Why is it
super awkward? Well, the first time I picked up an empty one, took the ends off because it was a giant. Like usually in the comp they use the smaller women's ones, I guess. But this was a full length one. It was really heavy, so I took the ends off so that it was like, you know, not even the caps on the ends. And I was pressing it, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I put the caps on. I'll see if I can press it. And I pressed it overhead, and it was like 40 kilos. And then I looked up the record, and Australian record was like 27 kilos. And I'm like, oh, I want to do this in a competition. And so I've had the record twice for like a few minutes at a time. And then the person after me is like beat it on the day, you know.
Holy shit.
That's from Monster Dumbbell.
That's insane. And now you've competed at a national level, you said? Sorry, was that for powerlifting or strongman?
For powerlifting. So I did nationals when I very first started, like a few months into me starting powerlifting, I did nationals. But I've actually been battling a back injury for like so long. And I actually had surgery on my spine like a week ago.
On your back?
So, yeah, that's why I'm standing because I'm not allowed to sit down for more than 15 minutes.
Fuck. What did you get? What was the injury and what have you done to it?
So long story short, over like the last year and a half, I had no problems at all really. And then one day I was squatting like pretty heavy, like 145 for a triple or something. And after each set, each warm up, I was kind of like, oh, it's getting a little bit tender down there. I've never had that before, but it wasn't even pain. It was just like discomfort in my lower back. And so I thought, oh, I'll keep going. It's not bad enough to stop. And I remember not doing my back downs because I was like, oh, I'll just leave it because I was close to a meet. And then, and I was also super lean. I was like 13% body fat at the time because I was peaking for a comp. And so I was like, oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. And the next day, dude, I couldn't even pick up an empty barbell. Like I couldn't pick up the washing basket. It was so sore. And then I've seen probably 20 people for it, and it's just an unspecified lower back injury. Scans didn't show anything wrong. And I just kind of rehabbed. I got back deadlifting after like 6 to 12 months. And then the squatting just would not freaking come back. Like I just couldn't. As soon as I went over like 70, 80 kilos on the bar, it would just flare it up again. So I when I peaked for this Miami competition, I just did high bar in wraps. Bare minimum, like I do like 2 sets of like 4 reps or something just to remind myself what it feels like to squat, and then I go get treatment the next day. And I pretty much just didn't squat in the lead up to that meet, and yeah, so I put up shit totals.
What did you squat on the day?
Oh, it was so bad. I don't know. The comp before that, I squatted 155. That comp, I was like, oh, if I could squat 140, that'd be great. And I think I squatted 137 or something on the day, 132.
So what was the surgery for? Sorry, of the spine.
So then, like, when coronavirus happened, I was like, oh, this is a good opportunity while there's no meets and stuff to, like, just completely give my back a rest. I wonder if I didn't load my spine for months and months and just did bodybuilding stuff, just machine legs and nothing else, then maybe it would give it like a long-term rest and it would be fine. So after I got a friend to write me a bodybuilding program, and after my first leg session, I got sciatica. I never had it before in my life. And I don't know if the two are related. They probably are, because my MRI showed that there was degeneration of the discs down lower. So possibly they're the same thing, and one's just like the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. But it was pretty bad for the first week, and I saw like 2 or 3 different people, got some needling, that sort of thing. Like, I sort of believe in like just doing rehabby stuff and whatever before you go to like a doctor or before you even get scans and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I did what I could with like a range of basically allied health people who lived. So like CrossFitters, powerlifters, chiropractors, osteo, stuff like that. And I was like, I think it's getting worse. And I took up running because that was kind of all I could comfortably do. And I'm like, I swear this is getting worse. And then like the last month before my surgery, I had to move in with my sister. Like, I couldn't dress myself. I couldn't drive. I couldn't do anything. It was so bad. It was torture. I actually wet myself once. Like, I was like losing control of my body. It was that bad.
That's
And what was the surgery they did?
What's that? Sorry.
What was the surgery they did?
Oh, so they basically, all that happens is you have like a nerve that runs down your spinal cord, I guess, and your discs kind of like bulge out and hit the nerve, and that causes pain. And it's confusing because it's referred pain, so it goes down your leg. So it's actually my leg that was sore. My back felt fine. But it's just like shooting agony all the way down my leg, right down to the foot. And so all they do is like shave off or cut off a bit of that disc that's protruding and touching the spine, but it's immediate relief. So I came out of surgery and I was like, oh my God, I've forgotten what it's like to not be in pain. It was amazing.
Wow.
That must be frustrating, because you mentioned you were going through like all these, to all these allied professionals, and you weren't really getting a diagnosis fully, and rehabbing around a back injury that you can't really diagnose. That's got to be frustrating, because you're doing all these things, but it's just like, well, is it getting better? Is it getting worse? How did you manage that?
Oh, it was so frustrating. And you know what's really frustrating? Really lovely people who are trying to help, and they're like, have you tried foam rolling? Bro, can you not? Like, and everyone thinks their guy's the guy. Like, everyone's like, yep, I know a guy, I know a chiro. And I'm thinking, dude, I've been to 30 people. Like, I'll try anything. Like, I was taking people's advice. I was trying anything. I tried, the most consistent advice that I received from professionals was to just kind of like, don't stop doing the things for me squatting that hurt completely. Try and like slowly ease back into squatting. So I would go into the gym and I just squat the bar for 3 weeks, and then I would squat 40 kilos for 3 weeks, and then I'd squat 45 kilos for 3 weeks. And I tried doing that. As soon as I get to like 70 kilos or something, I'm back to square one. And then I tried like just squatting infrequently and heavy, which I know sounds dumb, but I just tried everything else. I tried not lifting at all. I tried just like not training for a couple of weeks, or just doing dumbbell upper body stuff for a couple of weeks. Like, I just feel like I tried everything, and nothing, like, as long as I didn't squat heavy, I would have been fine forever. But obviously that's a third of my sport.
Yeah.
So not being able to squat.
Boring.
Pardon?
Not squatting heavy is boring.
Yeah. And everyone's like analyzing my squats to try and say, oh, it must be this, it must be that, it must be this. And it's like, dude, everyone's squat's different. Like, yeah, like maybe I am too upright, I'm not upright enough, or maybe my knees are coming too far forward, or maybe, but we just don't know. And I was just trying to squat differently every week, just try and like test what doesn't hurt, and just everything hurt. It was so frustrating. And people are like, oh, you got, your hips are like pulled underneath you. I'm like, yeah, because it's sore. Like, it's a chicken and the egg thing. Like, my squat doesn't look right because it's painful to do it right, But it was so frustrating.
What was the craziest piece of advice you were given to try and fix it? Do you remember?
Oh, just I don't remember all of them, because it's usually just like some guy commenting who goes to like a Globo gym that had a PT for 6 weeks. But recently I posted like that, like, hey, this is why I haven't been posting, because like I basically have like not been able to move. I haven't been able to shower myself or anything. And I said, like, it's looking like I'm going to have surgery. And some guy commented saying, have you tried running on sand?
Wow. Wow.
Oh my God.
Do
But that
they
was the
like?
thing too.
Have they looked at your Instagram and been like, "You're a 60-kilo chick that's squatting $1.50"? Like, I'm gonna go try running on sand because that makes total sense.
Yeah. And also, like, towards the end when it was so bad, people would be like, you need to do this. People would send me, like, stretches and exercises and stuff. And they'd be like, you need to strengthen your glutes or strengthen your core. And I'm like, that's a really good idea. And that probably would help. But if I can't even put my shoes on, how am I going to do enough hypertrophy in those exercises to fix my back? I can't do those exercises. I can't get on the floor to do a crunch.
Fuck.
It's like all these opinions are really well intentioned, but they don't have any context around what you're actually trying to achieve. It's like, I love when people give unsolicited advice. Like, I know you mean well, but you've missed the target a lot here.
I know. And it was often my friends as well. And everyone's so adamant. Everyone's like, no, my thing is going to help you, or my chiro is going to help you. And I'm like, dude, if I went to every single person that was recommended to me or did it, you know, like everyone's adamant it's their thing and you're an idiot for not doing their thing.
You'd be broke if you went to every single person ever.
That's right. But you know what I reckon? I reckon injuries are kind of like having a Harley. People only come over and ask you about yours so they can talk about their own. Like, you know, some old guy comes up to me on my Harley and he's like, oh yeah, nice bike there. And I'm like, oh, go on, mate. Tell me about the bike your brother's mate dog walker had in 94, you know? And they always do.
That's fucking incredible.
And what's the back like now? So you said literally instant pain relief. It's all good.
Instant pain relief, but guys, you should hear like the post-op instructions. They are hardcore. 6 weeks of no bending at all. No, so I can't pick anything up off the ground. I've got one of those like grabby sticks. I can't, and I can't do like a crunch. So if I'm lying in bed, I have to like roll onto my side and like roll out of bed. I can't do a sit up. And I can't, if something's already at waist height, I can't pick up more than 2 to 5 kilos and carry it somewhere. So I can't even like move the washing from like one place to another. I've been moving the washing by using my grabbing stick and moving everything one thing at a time.
And you said you can't sit for more than 15 minutes.
So I can't sit bolt upright like you would at a dining table, but I can sit like you would in a recliner. So I've got like a Chase lounge and I pad out my back and I kind of sit like reclined on my computer, and that's how I work. But I thought if I did that on the podcast today, it'd just be my chin like this the whole time.
I would like to thank you for thinking in the future about that, because we would have just been like on the couch going, here's my triple chin, enjoy this.
Yeah, you guys would have thought I was so unprofessional, like I couldn't even get out of bed for your podcast.
And is there any training at the moment that you can do, or it's literally there's nothing until that 6 weeks is up and then you can sort of kick it off again?
I can do unlimited walking. He's like, if you come back in 6 weeks and you tell me that you've been walking 10Ks a day, that's fine. But yeah.
So
it feels so inefficient. Like walking's so boring. Like I'd rather run. It's like, to me, that's just like you guys going to the gym and doing like 1 kilo dumbbell curls. Like you'd rather not do anything.
Yeah.
You know? But I understand the walking is good for me.
Yeah. Now, you also mentioned you were a registered nurse.
Yeah, so I work in the emergency department at one of the hospitals here in Geelong. And before coronavirus, I was kind of only doing like 1 or 2 days a week, just when I felt like it. But during coronavirus, obviously my gym had to shut and I had a lot of time on my hands. So, and it also felt like a way to kind of like, I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but a way to kind of like give back to the community or like contribute to the coronavirus situation. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone feels so like helpless at home, and I have like one thing that I can do to help. And also being on the front lines, like I'm a good candidate to be on the front lines at risk of contracting COVID because I'm young, fit and healthy. I live alone, so I'm pretty much like isolating anyway when I'm not at work. So I just felt like I was a good candidate to be on the front lines as well.
That's a good way to look at it there. Like a lot of people, as you said, felt super helpless, but you had one thing, and a very important thing, that you could actually provide and give back and help out the people around you, especially in this, you know, the state, or the current state of your state right now. Like,
yeah.
I think that's really admirable how you kind of put that. It's like, well, I've got the skills, I might as well.
Yeah. Obviously, it's for selfish reasons, like if I can get paid, but also like the interaction, like that was the only time we were allowed to interact with people. You couldn't have visitors in the home, bars and restaurants and stuff were shut. So it was fun going to work. I look forward to going to work every day.
Did you ever get to give the coronavirus test to anyone?
I've probably done 500, maybe 1,000. Probably closer to 1,000. I've done actual like swabbing clinics quite a lot where that's all you do all day.
Wow.
I went to one of the abattoirs and did a full day of swabbing there. I went to like a chicken farm where I think that's where they slaughter the chickens, and did all the stuff there because that's where a lot of the breakouts were in like, there was actually a breakout at one of those abattoirs after I had been there, like a few months later. So, yeah.
Those things go right in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, they kind of used to. So they changed the types of swabs that we were using. They used to be nasopharyngeal, which is like up to here, man. And it feels like it's here. Yeah. It feels like it's going through your brain, especially for you guys with such tiny brains. Now the ones that we're using are kind of just like deep in the nostril, which is still horrific, like very uncomfortable.
Do they still do the throat one as well?
Yeah, and the back of your tonsils as well.
Because I was like, I had the test done up here, and like the doctor or the person doing it, made me sit on my hands so I didn't punch them.
Yeah, and it makes people put their head up against the wall because otherwise they just keep like pulling back from you. Yeah,
it's actually a really good thing as well.
Yeah.
Have you had one?
No, thankfully, touch wood.
Yeah, I don't want one. It's not.
I've seen it.
It's fucking hard. It's weird.
How come you had one? Were you exposed to someone?
No, I went to the doctor because my sleep was off and because I put so much weight on recently, my breathing suffered. They're like, you got to go get tested. I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
Did you listen?
How long did it take for it to come back?
Like less than 24 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
Super quick. It was awesome. I got a day off work. Had to tell people I couldn't come in. It was great.
What's ED like, mate? You can get a bit crazy in there.
Say that again. Sorry.
What's working in ED like? Can get a bit crazy in there.
Yeah, it can, but I love it. I love it so much. Like when I first finished uni, I went out to a hospital that's in like one of the lowest socioeconomic areas in Melbourne.
Yep.
And I was commuting an hour a day each way, and it was just worth the travel for the excitement of working in a place like that. Like, I just love it. So I love the chaos.
What got you into that? Because you're like, how do you find the time to do coaching? And I know you said you do 1 or 2 shifts a week, but like nursing from the outside looks like a pretty demanding job.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know. It's also like so before nursing, I was always in very like tradey type outdoor jobs that are like physical labor. So nursing's lovely, like going into like the climate controlled, like room with my white sneakers and my washed hair and coming out the same. Like it's a hard job, but it's not, I don't find it that physically demanding. And I think that's actually why I kind of got into lifting weights, because going from a physically demanding job into nursing and also studying as a nurse, you're sitting down a lot when you're a student. I sort of wanted to get active and get moving, and I was a bit restless. So I think I just have a lot of energy to burn.
Fuck, that's sick.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But yeah, before coronavirus hit, before that, I took a couple of months off for like traveling and competing, and like I was kind of touring the US doing like photo shoots and podcasts and stuff like that. So before that, I was kind of doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday coaching, online coaching check-ins, and like filming content and that sort of thing. And then Tuesday, Thursday, I do a nursing shift. But I was still doing the online stuff at night, those nights. And then on the weekends, I was often doing photo shoots and stuff. So I was busy, but I've always been busy. I'm less busy than I've ever been. Like the last 2 years, I've been less busy than I've ever been. I've always been like crazy. Like when I bought this house, my hair was falling out. I just used to be like a workaholic. Bad.
Yeah, crazy.
That is crazy. And what pulled you back from that?
I guess I kind of burnt out, but I also had like a list of goals. And obviously when you achieve your goals, you don't just stop working hard, but it just took the pressure off. I was like, okay, I'm ahead of where I wanted to be. Like I can calm down a bit now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously you're a huge presence on social media. I think we're just looking before, you're just short of 300,000 followers, which is massive. How did that start for you?
It was very intentional. I was an exotic dancer. Yep. And a few of my friends had like followings like between like 20K and 60K kind of thing. Some of them have got like over 2 million now, those girls. but they were just getting little opportunities, like not even really financial yet, but they were just kind of like getting tickets to amazing things, and like guys would just like pay them to attend parties and stuff so that there was hot girls at the party and whatever. And I was like, how do you get onto all this? Like, where are these people finding you? And she's like, Instagram, like I'm just posting like bikini photos and stuff, and I'm building a following and all these people, you know, and they were kind of like, you should do it. And because I had 3 or 4 people to kind of kick off with, they posted me in their stories and in their posts. And so then all their followers came on. So the first sort of 15, 20,000 followers came pretty quickly. And then it's been a very slow climb since then, with the changes in the algorithms and things. Like, you'll notice now a lot of the girls that have like millions of followers are like over 30 or 35, and they started ages ago when the algorithms were so much easier to build a following. But it's really hard now. Like, I'd hate to be an 18-year-old personal trainer trying to build a following now.
Yeah, crazy. So how much time would you dedicate to social media? Because I guess it's essentially a job for you now.
So it's my full-time gig now, yeah.
How much do you spend towards it?
Look, it used to be really important to me to separate business from pleasure. And like, I'd close my phone I put on airplane mode at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. and wouldn't touch it for the rest of the night and stuff. But now I'm just kind of like having a bit more fun with it. And now I think we demonize social media a lot, and we kind of say like, oh, you know, if your screen time is more than like an hour a day, what a waste of an hour. If you enjoy it and you enjoy the time that you're on social media, like, why are you trying to cut it down? So I used to hardly use it at all. I'd go on to do my posts. I'd maybe screen my comments a couple of times after each post, check my DMs once or twice a day. But now I'm on it a little bit more, and I think that interacting with your followers a little bit more makes them more inclined to interact with your content, and then that helps you in the algorithm. So yeah, it just depends on what I've got going on at the time. Like now when I'm at home, I'm doing heaps, you know, I'm doing Q&As all the time, and I'm doing podcasts all the time and stuff. But in terms of the minimum of what I have to do, like if I wanted to take a month of just doing the bare minimum just to meet sponsorship minimum requirements and stuff, I could probably do a few photo shoots to get a backlog of content, and then not really have to do anything except for post for 20 minutes a day if I wanted to. Yep.
But you generally enjoy being able the opportunity to engage and interact with the people who are following you and trying to talk to you and find out more about you and all that sort of stuff. Right?
Increasingly so. Like I used to kind of see it as like, oh, I'm you know what, I'll be honest, like it's pretty arrogant. Like I used to kind of think like, oh, these people are following me, so like it's their job to communicate with me and not my job to communicate with them, and like they want to see my stuff and whatever. And now I see it more as like a community of like, these people love what you're doing and you're in a position to like help them, or like if someone comments on my post saying, oh my God, you're amazing, I love your content or whatever, and I go on and like 4 of their posts, they just like love it. And that's so cool to me. That makes me feel so good that makes them happy, and it doesn't cost me anything. So yeah, now I definitely enjoy like interacting with my followers a lot more.
Especially for someone and like they'll look at your page like, oh, this person has 300,000 followers, but they're taking, you know, the minute out of your day to go and like their stuff or comment back to them, and they'll feel super important. Like, like my stuff, this is really cool, and it makes you more relatable. It brings you kind of down to, you know, they see you more as just a human being rather than just this Instagram figure, and I think that's really cool.
Absolutely. And then you said you've got the opportunity to meet some pretty cool people through this. Who are some of the people you've got to meet? I mean, obviously we're number one, but aside from that, not even top.
And it's okay. We expect there's cooler people than us out there.
Okay, good. At least you know. I went over earlier this year to bodybuilding.com.
Wow.
And I filmed there for 2 days and was on their podcast, and it's cool being like plastered on their website, because that's where I started. Like I Googled bodybuilding program when I started at a gym for the first time, and it took me to bodybuilding.com, and that's where I started. And so it was really cool to go back there and spend days being treated like a queen there. Like it was amazing. I went to Mark Bell's gym and trained with him for a few days, and was on his podcast and YouTube, and filmed a few tutorials of like strongman movements and whatever. And that was heaps of fun. But yeah, just in Miami at that meet, there was just so many like elite powerlifters, definitely.
Yep. Obviously, and for those who don't know, you know, that hybrid meet's run and owned by Steffi Cohen, who's pound for pound one of the best powerlifters on the planet.
Yeah, yeah. And Hayden Bowe, who's like an amazing like businessman, like what they've done with Hybrid's amazing. So yeah, it was really good.
Sorry, man. I was going to say, did you get the opportunity to hang out with those two while you were over there?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, like I went to their place and stuff. But obviously it's the busiest week of their like year having that, and they're hosting a lot of people. So, but yeah, it was cool. But yeah, lots of people have travelled pretty far. Like there's people who come from the UK to compete, and there was just people from all over. So I made a lot of friends, and I just really made a point of like intentionally going out of my way to introduce myself to people and just say to people like, oh, hey, you don't know me, but like I've seen you on Instagram and I think you're a really great athlete and whatever, and make some really great connections and friendships that way. So
and that's a lot of this fitness or strength training, whatever you want to call it, industries is about your network and going up and making the effort to introduce yourself and meeting people, because in this community, it's being so niche almost, it's your network becomes your net worth, and having people
super important.
100%. So it's really cool.
And also, like, yes, like what we're talking about at the moment is people who are like, somebody's in powerlifting or just strong in powerlifting or whatever. But also, when the Arnold's is on here, I go every day, even if I'm not like coaching, even if I don't have to be there, if I'm not being paid to be there, I go every day because, well, the last Arnold's, I walked away with a sponsorship, an employee, and like 3 new online coaching clients. And a lot of it is just like, it's just a land of opportunity. And a lot of followers are intimidated by the people that they follow online. And as soon as they've met me and they've broken that barrier and they're like, oh, she's the same online as she is in person, they end up like messaging me for coaching. And quite often I'll have a client start up and I'll go on their Instagram and I'll hit send message to see if they've ever messaged me before. And they've like featured me in their story. I met them at the Arnold's and they shared me in their, like a photo of me in their story and whatever. So I do find a huge conversion rate of people that I've met in person, even if they followed me for years before that, and people who sign up for online coaching. So it's not just about like meeting like famous people or like elite athletes or whatever. I think that, you just never know who you're going to meet.
That's so cool though. And I like the way you approach the social media. As you said before, we do demonize it for obvious reasons, but it is also something really good, as it is a platform for us to connect with other people, spread our message and share that content with everyone.
Yeah. I'm actually quite, I know I have a biased opinion, but I'm quite anti-social media bashing. I just think that it's not social media's fault if you react to a way that you like read something or what you see, or
I think it's a matter of perspective. Like it's like anything we do, social media is just an external tool for us to either, as I said before, share a message, or you can be a dick about it and just go out there and be a keyboard warrior and just, bring others down because your life is shit. So 100% agree with that. Like social media gets demonized. And in some cases, I probably agree with it. But in most cases, as if we use it for the tool that it is to connect with people, it's not an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And I think too, like if your mental health is negatively affected by social media, well, mine never has been. And I'm on it probably more than the next person. So like, I just kind of think it's like a you problem, not a social media problem. And if social media exacerbates issues that you have going on, then I think it's your responsibility to pull yourself away from social media. It's not social media's job to change, I think.
100%. I had this conversation with someone today. It's like, you're responsible for your own feelings. It's not Facebook's fault you feel a certain way. Like that person's they want to share for that reason, whatever it is. It is a you problem.
If you don't like
it. Yeah. You don't have to follow this page if you don't like it.
Yeah. That's true. But how cool that like people who have like skills, whether it's like decorating cakes or gymnastics or training dogs or like whatever your skill is, you can build an audience and like demonstrate that skill. You can teach people about that skill. And I just think that's amazing. And I often think back to like when I was a kid, I was competing in horse riding, and I never took it past the local level. And I was kind of like cleaning up at the local level. Like I was like winning everything. I was going in as this really young kid, and I was like really poor compared to the people I was competing against. And I was thinking just recently, why did I never take that to the next level? And I realized I didn't know what the next level was. And if there was social media back then, I would be following all these really great horse riders, and I'd be like, oh, I want to do what they're doing. And it would just be easier to find out what the steps are from here to there. But at the time, like social media existed, but I was so young and it wasn't in your face like it is now. And I just didn't know how to take it to the next level.
Back then, it was just MySpace. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I had MySpace.
You had a MySpace? Yeah.
Yeah. But imagine if there was no such thing as social media and you saw a guy, you went to the gym for the first time and there was a guy like deadlifting 300 kilos. You would just be like, I have no idea how to get from where I am now to that guy. Like, what's the in-between? But,
100%.
You end up looking up powerlifting on social media and you end up being inspired by these people and you see where they're training and,
I think it also has provided us like with the Roger Bannister effect of the guy who, was the first one to break the 4-minute mile, whatever it was. Like, we can now associate, or we can see what's more possible. Like, if social media didn't exist, would we know that Andrei Milanichev could squat 485? And these sort of things blasted all over the social media. And now we've got people squatting 500 kilos plus. It's like, that's the new norm almost. Like, back when I first started powerlifting, there'd be one or two blokes pulling 300 kilos, squatting 300 kilos. Now it's now like, again, the new normal. It's just crazy. And that's through exposure, bringing more people in the sport that we can thank, I think, social media. And I think our sport owes a lot to things like CrossFit and bodybuilding because they've brought attention to barbell sports.
Yeah. But some people don't like that. Some people don't like that there's all these strongman documentaries because they're going to come and like overpopulate the sport and whatever. I'm like, just get stronger and then you'll stay at the top of your sport. Like, stop being afraid of people joining the sport. And if you care about the sport, you should want money coming in. Like, you should want sponsorships coming in and, ads are good for your sport. And, I don't know. I feel like people are gatekeeping their sports and they're like, if it becomes too popular, it'll lose something. And it's like, well, the only way that it can continue to improve is if more money comes into it by exposure and, added popularity.
And like, if these top level athletes in the sport, man, if you want to get paid for it, how about we start exposing it to more people, bring more money in, and guess what?
Yeah.
You'll get a payday. It's just
exactly.
It's just so common for people to hold on to thing that makes them, that's their identity. And it's like, no, you got to let go of that if you want it to excel, if you want it to grow. And I truly believe that if something's not growing, it's dying. It's, And we look what happened with powerlifting in Australia. It got to a point where it wasn't really growing, died off. And now we're in this fucking boom. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
And if you're in it at the right time, you grew with it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to change, but I just think that we put too much hype on the old days in any context. Everyone just thinks that everything's turning to shit and whatever. I'm like, some things are, but you can't change it, so just ride the fucking wave.
I think we need to learn from the mistakes of the past to progress the future.
Yeah, I think that's true.
In anything we do, like, it's cool. There's, we've interviewed a couple of old school powerlifters and they've got some stories and they've got some training techniques that I would never have looked on. I'm like, cool, let's take that with us. But that's only adding to the growth of the sport now. And there's some bad shit, but we don't worry about that. We just forget about that. Let's just...
Yeah, that's true.
And it comes from as we said before, perspective. Looking at it and
definitely.
And how old are you again, sorry?
I'm 26.
Like, you're 26, but you're a mature 26. Like, I know 26-year-olds who are still on the piss out every fucking weekend, getting fucking waking up on Sunday morning, needing a Barocca and something else. Like...
Well, I'd like to be, but I've got no friends.
He's my only friend, so it's easy. He likes to...
I'm a powerlifter. I can't afford it.
Yes. There's no sponsorship in powerlifting yet.
Sorry?
There's no sponsorship in powerlifting just yet.
No, and that's the thing, like what you were saying about like bringing attention to a sport, like it needs attention to make money. I think I'm a really good example of that because I'm not the most elite. I haven't won nationals. I haven't I haven't won pro roll. I haven't even competed in pro roll. Like, I am not an elite powerlifter, but I'm making a living from the sport because I've brought exposure to myself as an athlete. And I think it's just the same thing for the sport on a larger scale. Like, if you want the sport to have money involved, then you just need people to know about it.
100%. And I think if we look at powerlifting, because it has grown so quickly in the last few years, like Marcos Makopoulos, who's like the man, which you would obviously know who Marcos is in powerlifting. The reason he does such a good job at like growing the sport is because he does not stop talking about it. Like, we've butted heads at comps before, and I may not always agree, but we always shake hands and walk away friends because I respect him for what he's done for the sport. He's giving me the opportunity to make a dollar from it, make a living, and share my passion with other people.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
again,
Everything Marcus does for the sport, it benefits our businesses and benefits what we
exactly.
do.
It brings, as you said before, exposure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes good exposure, sometimes bad, but exposure is exposure.
More people are watching it, looking at it.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your plan next? What are you do you have something on the cards?
Well, in terms of training, I have no idea now. You know what? I was really enjoying running before my back got really bad, which is wild. I've never run in my life.
You don't need to run. We don't do that.
Yeah, cut that out of the podcast. Yeah. So yeah, I really want to give my back the best chance of recovery. I want to kind of recover for a better chance of being a good functioning human rather than for the better chance of being the best power lifter, because my back health is more important than becoming an elite power lifter and whatever. So I'm just going to be really responsible. So if that means like doing bodybuilding stuff for 6 months and doing a bit of like something to keep me entertained, like maybe I'll do a little mini triathlon or something just for something to aim for. I liked competing because I liked having a date that I was training for and like something to train for. So I'll just find something. But there's actually heaps of shit I want to try that's completely unrelated to powerlifting. But definitely the goal is to get back into powerlifting. And in terms of business, I want to do something outside of the fitness space, I think. Like, not because I'm not enjoying it and not because I don't want to have a future in fitness, but I just feel like powerlifting and lifting was my hobby and then I made it my career. And I think when you make it all one, it becomes your entire identity. And I don't want like me to just be a powerlifter and powerlifting. So I'd like to try other hobbies and or try another industry. And I was actually supposed to open a cosmetic injectables clinic, which was supposed to have like 10 staff members. It was 2 stories. I signed the lease, and then a week out from the lease commencing before coronavirus, they backed out on the lease and said it was too high risk. So I lost that. Yeah, it was a bit of a burn. I lost some deposits on like shop fitters and stuff. So I was pretty devastated about it, to be honest, at the start.
Would you do it again?
I would, but the thing is that like, I don't know when all that's going to be 100% certain again. And I don't want to sit around and wait for it. So I'm going to invest the money elsewhere, do something else. And then maybe when things open up and go back to normal, I will have spent that money on something else and I'll ride that wave. But I'm just going to take it as it comes. Like I'm going to make the assessment when injectables and cosmetic procedures and medical procedures are happening again. I'll make the assessment. Is that where I want to invest this time? So, but I have no experience in that. So there's nothing really drawing me to that more than the next thing, really.
Yep.
And what else?
I can't inject. There's like a few like e-commerce.
Yeah, sorry? I was just wondering, like, what other hobbies outside of powerlifting?
In terms of business, there's a few like e-commerce things I want to look into. There's an app that I'm getting quoted at the moment and stuff. So we're all like unrelated to fitness. So we'll see where we go. But I actually have like a literal physical list of sports that I want to try.
Really?
I wanted to make it like a YouTube series. So I was going to do like Bike Activity Try Sports, and it was just going to be watching me suck at stuff, basically. But you know what I really want to do? I really want to do, oh my God, I forgot what it's called. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You know, it's not javelin, but when you use a long stick to jump over the pole.
Pole vault.
Pole vault, thank you.
Yep.
Pole vault. I want to try pole vault. I'll have to lose a lot of weight because I'm not getting up that high the way I am at the moment. But I want to try like more like athletic stuff and see where it goes. I definitely want to take up golf. I've been meaning to take up golf for ages.
Let that back settle first and then definitely take it. But I really like your approach to it. Obviously, powerlifting right now is out of the question, but you're so open and flexible and to trying new things because you know you are a competitive person.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you sort of have to be like, and that's sort of how I got into strongman because I couldn't squat, but I could kind of do everything else. I could deadlift and I could overhead press and everything. So I was kind of like, well, while I'm waiting until I can squat again, why don't I do some strongman stuff? So I think that instead of sitting around crying that I'm not a power lifter and not being active, I might as well just like try something new for a little while. I don't need to commit to it forever. It doesn't have to be a transition. It can just be to burn time keep active until I can power lift again. And it's only going to help, right?
That'd be a pretty fun YouTube series. I think plenty of people would get around watching that.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. There's some wild things in there.
What would
I want to do like
try?
rodeo.
Yes. You just had spine though. That's real good. Spine will be fine.
Maybe that's my back, right? I want to drop in on a half pipe in rollerblades, having no experience in doing so. I've got like a few things on my bucket list that I want to try and do. Physical feats that I want to try and do.
That's sick.
Feet.
And I want to do like the medieval fighting.
We just had a guy on that does that.
Stop. No way.
Like
Insane.
literally the podcast before we just recorded with Neil. He's known as the powerlifting photographer up here in Brisbane, and
Right.
he literally like he'll come into the gym with his 8 kilo helmet to get like kind of used to breathing and conditioning and just sit on the bike and do it. It's insane.
No way.
Yeah, his helmet weighs 8 kilos, so
I'm now going to try the sport.
it's actually insane. So the fact that you want to do that is just so ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah, how funny.
They
That's
actually-
nuts. I had a girl who had booked flights to come down for Arnold's weekend, but then coronavirus happened and we were going to do like WWE type wrestling. And I've got a friend down here who owns a gym that does that, and he does it professionally. And yeah, that was going to be the first thing. So I can't wait to do that too. I'm like, bring the costumes. The costumes are so important to me. I'm so excited about the costumes. The girl in me can't wait to get dressed up, you know.
That's going to be so sick. That's fucking insane. Now, before you have a phone call.
That's the wrong time.
That's the wrong time for
Is
that.
that your mum?
Hi, Mum. No, that wasn't. That was.
Tell her to call me back.
No, actually, before we jump into our next
Before
thing.
we digress.
Before we digress, we always digress. But I was setting up for a deadlift today, and my fucking mum calls me. Like the music's in my ears and it's blasting, and I'm like set, and the phone it just went quiet. My hip started vibrating. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake! Like seriously.
Oh. Put on airplane mode. You're such a rookie.
I know. I literally.
You know
did
when
that.
you're filming a lift and someone calls so it doesn't film?
Yes. Oh.
Unforgivable.
But anyways, we do digress. We have now
The next 10 most important questions you'll ever answer in your life.
Great, I'm ready.
She's like, why do I agree to this?
So you have 30 seconds as I get my stopwatch ready to tell the world anything you like. Are you ready? Go.
No?
It's counting.
Okay. Stop supporting MLMs, multi-level marketing. They are the ones that are going through loopholes to remain running. Still should be illegal. Nobody wants to get messages from people that they haven't heard from in 5 years, asking them if they want their fucking nails painted with stickers instead of paint, or asking them if they want Tupperware. No one wants to be your friend when you're in multi-level marketing, and they are predatory.
And that's 30 seconds. That was brilliant. I love that.
That's
That was
good.
unreal. Well done.
Clearly passionate about multi-level marketing and its downfall, not good things.
You know what? I am, because I don't really have strong opinions about anything. Like, I'm not really like, I don't know, but that's like the one thing that I want to raise awareness on, I care about. And yeah, watch the movie Betting on Zero. It used to be on Netflix. I don't think it's on there anymore, but it'll be somewhere online. But it's about like multi-level marketing, but specifically Herbalife and how predatory, how it ruins lives. Like, it's crazy, but it's really interesting documentary.
What is the strangest thing you currently do or think about?
Well, for some reason, every single time I take my socks off, I have to smell them.
Good.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't, because they're coming off. I'm done for the day.
Are you
I don't know why.
considering to wear them again at that moment? Or
No,
that,
no.
Not one again?
I think it's like research, because if I go to someone's house, I want to know, are my feet, but I don't think I have smelly feet. I've never smelt them and been like, whoa, must have had a big day today. So I don't know why I do it. There's no rationale.
I like it though. What is the most important quality in a human?
Money. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. And you guys didn't laugh. That means you think I'm serious.
No, we couldn't. It like cut out just as you said it. So I thought you said honey.
I said honey.
Oh, I said money.
Yeah, okay. I was like, honey, what the fuck?
Integrity.
Lovely. What made-up word would you like to have entered into the English language?
My friend and I, we describe ourselves as very toxic, like jokingly. But we're saying that we're toxic, but we're classy. So we say we're toxic, like Toxique. Because it's like, you know, people say Target because Target's trashy. It's kind of like we call ourselves toxic. And I just got this exact necklace made, but with Toxique on it for us too. Like a friendship necklace.
I love it. What's your first memory?
Oh, no, I know what it is. Oh, it's bad. My mum can't swim because she grew up in England and it's cold. So I I got out of the water to have some lunch, and my mum took my floaties off me, and I didn't know she'd taken them off, and someone threw something in the pool, and I jumped in the deep end thinking I would float. I forgot that they went on, and I sunk to the bottom, and I remember looking up and seeing my mum just standing there and wondering why she wasn't coming down to help me. And then my dad had to get in the water, and I remember him like jokingly complaining that like his whole wallet was saturated because he just jumped in with his wallet and everything.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's a fucking hectic one.
How do you feel about wombats?
Sorry?
How do you feel about wombats?
Very passionately, yeah. My first love was actually a wombat.
What's something you learned last week?
Oh.
This one stumps everyone.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've learned a lot about like neurosurgery because of my surgery, I guess. I don't know.
Neurosurgery.
Yeah, okay. I learned about the cause of my sciatica, and then I'm probably fucked forever.
At least you've accepted it.
That's true.
Let's keep it light.
What's your perfect Saturday afternoon/night, aside from obviously podcasting with us two humans?
I feel like I missed out on my early 20s because I was working in clubs all weekend, every weekend. And I feel like I'm ready for like, to like have that phase now. I know I'm way too old for it, but better late than never, right? So I feel like if things opened up right now, I'd be going out and getting wasted every weekend, which is not previously like me. But honestly, I really love the last partner that I had. Every now and then I'd be like, I think it's time you went hiking. You haven't been hiking for a while, because I really love being alone in my house in front of the TV, watching something I've seen before that I'm not paying 100% attention to, and like just chilling out on my own. I love being alone.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Do I
believe in ghosts?
Oh, no. I think you said, do I believe in goats? No, I don't believe in anything supernatural.
Okay. What will be the last thing you say before you die?
Probably ouch. I feel like it'll be an accident. Like, it'll be a trauma. It won't be. It'll be me trying a sport. At least it'll be on YouTube.
Get a lot of hits.
Yeah, right.
That's fucking amazing. Mate, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. If people want to reach out to you, get in contact with you about training, nutrition, whatever, how can they find you?
Instagram's the best way. My Instagram is BikerBiddy, BikerBidie. I'm on a lot of socials, usually just as BikerBiddy, but Instagram's my fave.
Easy done. We'll throw that all up in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us today. This comes out in a couple of weeks, but we'll keep in touch and give you a heads up.
Great. Love that. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.
Bye. Yes.
Yes.